Okay, we're going to start off with a wild one right out of the gate here, Leroy, and this one absolutely cracks me up. It's Tal's Hill.
Tal's Hill.
Yep, so give me what you got.
So remember back in the year 2000. Wow, that was 24 years ago.
Whew, crazy.
Enron Field, which is now Minute Maid Park. Also remember, I don't know if 10 Run Field. Do you remember 10 Run Field?
Nope.
That was Enron's Field's nickname was 10 Run Field. I remember that.
Oh, I don't remember that nickname.
Yeah, it was kind of lots of runs scored back there before they changed the fences and before they made some. I think they made some adjustments that inhibited the offense a little bit. But more importantly, Enron Field, that turned into Minute Maid Park, had a particular feature in center field that we wanted to talk about. And what is that feature?
Well, Tal's Hill is that feature. And it was literally that. A hill in the field of play.
Yeah, in the field of play. It was 90 feet wide. It was a 15-degree incline that began at the warning track, right before the warning track, in the center field section of Minute Maid Park.
I've seen some places, Leroy, saying it was a 30-degree incline. So I don't know if it was 15 or 30, but either way, it was an awkwardly rising slope in center field that just doesn't work naturally for an outfielder running full tilt on a fly ball.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't enough, there was also a flagpole there, too.
In the middle of it.
Yeah, in the field of play.
Right.
And amazingly enough, it lasted quite a while.
Yeah, 16 years. They took it out in 2016, thankfully before anybody blew an ACL or seriously injured themselves on it. But for 16 years, Tal's Hill wreaked havoc in the center field section of Minute Maid Park. And I'm surprised that there has been a lot of escapades out there with the pole and Tal's Hill, but you could really get a ball to bounce up off of the wall and pinball between the wall and the light post on the hill and come out the other side trying to play it. And it's amazing that somebody didn't get blown up on that hill. I know you were mentioning before we started recording that Andrew Jones bit the dust a couple times in a row on it.
Yeah, Andrew Jones of the Braves. I saw some old videos, and one time he had a couple of back-to-back plays where the hill came into play and he got a little tripped up. I don't know what the injury history is or was from Tal's Hill, if anything, but yeah, it was probably a good idea to remove it.
Yes.
Leroy, can you imagine being a fly on a wall at the development meetings when they were designing the stadium and they're brainstorming and some baseball executive raises his hand and says, hey, how about we put a hill in center field? And they went for it. What the hell were they thinking?
Yeah. So listen, I think I have a theory or an answer as to what was Major League Baseball thinking. Okay, I think I know what. You'll remember back in the 80s and the early 90s, every Major League Baseball stadium from Three Rivers to Riverfront to Veterans in Philadelphia, everything was the same. It was a donut with very little features, and it was usually on AstroTurf. And by the 90s, I think people started to have a nostalgic idea about baseball to where there was a longing for the individuality of a park that was based on circumstance or, based on just happenstance of how it got developed. It ended up being that way. I think there was a hunger for this quirky individual idea. People wanted to see a modern day Fenway Park and not just another Three River Stadium. So I think it was right around the turn of the millennia where a lot of these architecture firms got employed and incorporated into Major League Baseball stadium design for the very reason of making a fan experience that was more authentic and unique feeling. And I think Tal's Hill was a reaction to trying to make a modern day's Pesky's pole.
All right, now listen, I love the individualistic or the custom approach to the designing of ballparks. I love that MLB allows for some creative flexibility. I think part of the draw and appeal for fans to go and visit all 30 parks. It's like a bucket list type of a thing for fans. And part of that appeal is to see some differences in the ballparks. If they're all just cookie cutters, then once you've seen one, you've seen them all. So having that creative license to design these oddball outfield shapes and sizes with different amenities or whatever, it's definitely another layer added to the attraction of the game. But having said that, a hill in the field of play, it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, I know it could cause chaos. It's definitely going to be on the highlight reel.
you know that they were thinking that. I mean, it's so absurd, Leroy. I can't even hate on it. I love how stupid it is. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah, it is crazy stuff.
Now, there is a history of some quirky baseball stadiums. Back in the golden days, the Yankees had their monuments on the field. Imagine having to contend with, it's kind of like the flagpole out there on Tal's Hill. It could have that sort of a pinball effect.
Yeah.
Briggs Stadium in Detroit also had, a bit of a quirkiness with that overhang out in right field. Detroit Tigers owner Walter Briggs wanted to add some more seats to his stadium, and so they made this 10-foot overhang on the second deck. And so, you could have a fly ball come in and bloop, it hits off the upper deck while you're trying to field the fly ball. And how about this one, Leroy? Have you ever heard of the Baker Bowl?
No, I have not.
Some of you baseball historians may know this. The Baker Bowl was home to the Philadelphia Phillies from 1887 to 1938. The Phillies, by the way, this is a little side note, are the oldest continuous one-name, one-city franchise in all of professional sports. So a little piece of bragging rights for the city of Philadelphia to hang your hat on. Yeah. So anyway, the right field wall at the Baker Bowl was limited to just 280 feet. Now, that's from home plate to the right field wall, 280 feet. And just for some context, most major league parks from home plate to right field are 320 or 330 feet. So you're talking about a 40 or 50 foot shorter distance at the Baker Bowl. And the reason for this is because there were pre-existing buildings and a set of railroad tracks right on the other side of that right field wall. So what they had to do to make it work was go up. That wall ended up being 60 feet high. And if you don't know, the Green Monster at Fenway is only 37 feet. So 60 feet is crazy high.
Yeah. It's like that's incredible.
So yeah, there were some parks out there with some pretty neat individual personalities, and Tal's Hill at Minute Maid Park in Houston was definitely one of them. Maybe that one was a little bit more outlandish than some of the others.
It was a boner, and like we said, they took it out in 2016, and it's gone now. And fortunately, before anybody lost a knee on it or anything, but forever remember Tal's Hill. Let it rest in peace. Yes.
Okay, Tal's Hill, the first term of the day. Next up is reverse force double play. And I didn't realize that this play had that name attached to it.
Listen, when you said we were going to go over this on terminology, I had to meditate for about 20 minutes on what a reverse force double play could possibly mean.
Yeah.
Like trying to think of an instance in which it would happen, and it either had to be. But yeah, it's an interesting term. I'm excited to hash it out.
Yeah, now, like I said, I didn't even realize this play had a name to it. But in retrospect, it makes sense because it's still a double play, but it's in reverse in that the force is taken off before the second out is made.
Well, okay, well, yeah, I'll the exact definition. Okay. It's a baseball play where the first out is a force play. It's a double play where the first out is a force play.
Right.
But the second out is made on a runner without the force play. Now, obviously, in a regular double play, it's bang, bang, runner at first, ground ball to the shortstop, throw it to second for the first out, throw it to first for the second, right? Both force plays. Okay, so that's easy. But a reversed force double play.
Yeah, it's a tag.
Where the first out is a force, but the second is a tag. And like I said,
right.
I had to sit for a good 15 minutes trying to think of a baseball situation in which that would happen. And there's one real obvious one I guess I didn't think of at first. But so what did you make of the reverse force double play?
Well, I see the play occasionally. And when I do, typically this is how it happens when I see it. So there's a runner on first, and a ground ball is hit over to first base, and the first baseman fields it near the bag, and instead of throwing down to second to get the force, he first steps on the bag at first base, and then he makes the throw down to second, but by then the force is off for that lead runner, and the defense has to make the tag. But that's usually how I see that play happen, and it makes sense to me because the guy is so close to the bag at first. He figures he may as well get the quick out while he's right there, and even though the next out has to be a tag play, it's still quick enough for them to complete the double play doing it that way, and it's only one throw.
Yeah, that's so weird. I mean, it made me think that if I'm the first baseman and I catch the ball, I get a grounder, I put my foot on the bag, first base, he's out. I thought I could just turn and throw to the second baseman and it's a force over there, but it's not?
Right. No, it's not. It's once he tags first base, the force is off, and that lead runner can retreat back to first base if he wants to because there's no more force.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. Well, it's the same thing, too, if, say, it was bases loaded and nobody out. Okay, if I hit a ground ball to the third baseman, and the third...
So there's a force everywhere.
There's a force everywhere, but if the third baseman steps on the third base bag, it's a tag at home.
Yeah, it's a tag at home, but now the force is still on at second and at first. But at home, it's a tag play because the force was taken off at third.
Yeah, there's no force. That's a tag play. That's right. Now, if you threw to home first, that's a force.
Right. If he goes home immediately, it's a force there, and the force is still on everywhere else.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's something I think the average casual fan may not be aware of.
No, well, like I said, I had to stop and think, wait a second, I step on the bag at third, I can throw that home. Oh, no, that's a tag at home. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a wrinkle in the rules there.
Yeah, and Leroy, I know you knew this. It probably was just a matter of processing it. It's not like you don't know what a force is. You're well aware of baseball rules, so I'm certain that you knew this, and it was just a matter of seeing it played out and realizing how it would be scored. But, it kind of does make me wonder how you scored in a book when you're keeping score. I don't know, man. All right, reverse force double play.
You probably see it more than you think you do.
Oh, I think so. I think it happens quite a lot. If you're looking for it, you're going to see it. Okay, Leroy, we're moving on. And the next term is white elephant.
Love this one. I love the white elephant.
I do too. And Leroy, you know me, and you know that I love Connie Mack. He's one of my favorite baseball figures in all of baseball history. This guy is something else.
He is something else, isn't he? Now, I don't know, any younger guys out there watching, maybe you've seen the Oakland Athletics play. Maybe you've seen on the shoulder patch, on the sleeve patch, they've got an elephant mascot, and he's holding a bat up above his head. What do you think that elephant mascot is all about?
And he's standing on top of a baseball, too.
Yeah. That's right.
It's their old school logo. Nowadays, you just see that calligraphy style A on their cap. But back in the day, that elephant was their official logo. But you're right, Leroy. You don't see it as much. So maybe some younger fans wouldn't even notice the arm patch. But it's such a great logo, and how it came about, the story behind how they even got that logo, it just makes it so much better. I'll let you tell that story of how Connie Mack came up with this logo. But for a quick side note, the actual origin of the white elephant goes back to the early to mid 1800s when the king of Siam would give an albino elephant as a gift, but he would give it to someone that displeased him. And the gift was actually a curse because the cost of the upkeep would cause financial ruin to the person that received the gift.
So that has deep historical roots.
Yeah, the white elephant does itself. And when John McGraw uses that as an insult, that's where the origin comes from. But as far as the A's logo and how it came about, Leroy, you could tell us that story.
Well, back in the 1902 pennant race, famous New York Giants manager, legendary manager in the game, John McGraw, quipped that the Philadelphia Athletics has a white elephant on their hands.
Yeah.
Of course, if you've ever been to a Christmas party and you've had a white elephant gift exchange, that means you're going to find a gift that is actually not a gift. It's something quirky that you may want only in irony's sake, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift that isn't. It's a booby prize, so to speak. So a white elephant is basically John McGraw saying, oh, Philadelphia has got a big, new, expensive toy that's going to take a turd in the standings.
Right, exactly. Suggesting the A's will cost the owner more money than what they bring in because they suck.
Yeah, them's fighting words. Of course, that's not how it went down, though.
No, it's not. Connie Mack will get the last laugh, with his A's beating John McGraw's New York Giants in the 1911 and the 1913 World Series. But going back to 1901, when the A's come onto the scene and McGraw makes that statement about the white elephant, Philadelphia ends up winning the American League pennant in 1902, and that's when they finally adopt their logo, and it's the white elephant, as they use the insult from John McGraw kind of as an in-your-face moment.
Yeah.
But he has this knack, Connie Mack does, of building these championship teams over and over.
Yeah. And that's, I think, one of the reasons we're both loving Connie Mack is the baseball mind, their strategic team building and stripping down of how to keep a bare bone. You want to talk about Moneyball and being a small market franchise before its time. That's what Connie Mack was good at, is building up teams of mediocres, winning championships, tearing it all down and selling the players, almost like
and doing it all over again.
Yeah, the early day Jeffrey Loria, but instead of just destroying the for hapless, apocalypse, he would continue to resurrect these.
Yeah, he did it multiple times. He would tear it down and rebuild.
Yeah, and he would build them up.
And Leroy, he would do this at the expense of his own win-loss record. Connie Mack has the most wins by far in Major League history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. And he would have so many more if he hadn't torn down those teams and pretty much started from scratch. But he would continue to build and win.
Yeah. I think sometimes people forget in today's, it's all about free agency. It's all about money. Oh, money has ruined the game. Hey, let's not forget. In the early part of the 20th century, baseball was about making money. And that's what Connie Mack was good at doing. He was running a business as much as he was running a ball club. And so, we like to opine eloquently and, nostalgically for a time in which baseball was more about pure things. Hey, listen, it was about money as much as anything else was back then.
Yep.
And that's something that Connie Mack was good at. He had to do it that way. And that's something that I always thought was just really interesting, especially about, the last time the Oakland A's were winners, that it was even in the 2000s here. You still had the A's being brought up and torn down. It was
wow, that's true. I never really put that together. But the A's kind of carried on doing what Connie Mack did over 100 years ago. I mean, I don't know if they were, especially following in his path, but, they just happened to be doing so.
It's just kind of the legacy of the Oakland A's. And it's one of the reasons, too, why, talking about Connie Mack and all of this, the other reason, not to get on too much of a side tangent, but why the Oakland athletic situation is such a tragedy, because it's such a historical franchise, and it's got so much, there's so much chops to the Athletics, and, for them to just be kind of pushed around, like a marketing piece, it just feels... I don't know. It feels like the A's aren't getting the due that they're actually.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Such a rich history for that ball club. And the fans out there in Oakland, really, they're the ones that are paying the price. But that's the ugly business side of the game, especially in the 21st century with so much more exposure, more media coverage, and the speed at which news travels. But the Oakland A's, originally the Philadelphia A's, just a legendary American League franchise. And Connie Mack using John McGraw's words against him and showing that the junior circuit can hang with the big boys in the National League.
Now, we know the American League National League rivalry for all those years as being because one had the the designated hitter, and the other did not. The biggest difference between the leagues is the American League fans were allowed to drink and the National League fans were not.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that was the biggest. One of the biggest differences between leagues was just the American League. You were allowed to drink beer in the stadium, and the National League, you were not.
Huh. Okay.
For more segments like this, check out our full episodes on any podcast platform. We are the Baseball Book Club. Thanks for listening.